Hey guys, this is Priven with another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report between the High Elves and the Empire. This match was Blood in the Badlands, the campaign I'm doing with the group at the shop, and I have not fought the Empire player yet. I was very glad I finally got to fight him today. We were doing a special scenario. Forgot what it was called. It's in the marshes though, and basically it's a dawn attack scenario. Between the six of us, our opponents were randomized, and I drew Empire, which was okay with me because pretty much kind of a little fluff going on. Pretty much his Empire army has been organizing the other players against the High Elves. I have a lot of mines in the campaign, so I think the humans are being jealous. So this was kind of my opportunity to kind of pay him back for all that he's been doing. Alright, so let's take a look at the High Elves here. We got Reavers with bows and spears back there, two groups of them. They got musicians, that's all they have, they don't have full command. The Hideous Mage, once again, that y'all have seen in some of my other battle reports on the left, is a level 2 Life Mage with a Dispel Scroll. In the middle is my BSB. He's got the Reaver Bow, he's got the Golden Crown, so 2 up ward save for the first unsaved wound. The Shield of Merowyn, so basically a 4 up parry save. Yeah, definitely like my BSB. The mage on the right is my level 4 Shadow Mage. I was really hoping for Mind Razor. Basically, I was not pulling any punches with this list. Special scenario. And I really wanted to fight the Empire player. I did not have the Book of Hoeth, though. Remember, this is kind of a campaign that's real fluff. My general with the Book of Hoeth was killed. He won't come back till the end of the season. So this guy had a Book of Anshur, or Ansel. It gives him +1 to casting. Right here, we have, in the very back, is Spearman, proxying as Seaguard. A lot more painted. Still having to proxy some. I'm really hoping to get all my spears done within a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3. This was a renowned unit in my campaign. The special scenario specifically stated to bring your renowned units. So they are called the Scale Cloaks, and basically they are just Seaguard, but they have the special rule that they are stubborn. So it's, they're pretty tough. They pretty much stick around like white lions to the last man. They have spears and they have bows with 24 inches. Oh yes, my BSB was a Sea Helm, basically a Sea Helm special hero that basically he has a special ability that he can basically reform a unit right before as it's being charged to basically go from horde formation into standard formation. So he's definitely being placed with the Sea Guard. And those archers are being proxied as Shadow Warriors. So I've been thinking of buying a box of Shadow Warriors. They're $50. So I've only used them a couple times. So still kind of wondering if I should get them, so I wanted to give them another try today. And they don't have full command. They're just base. Alright, right here are my Sword Masters, but they are being proxied as Phoenix Guard. A total of 30 of them. 30 Phoenix Guard, a lot of Phoenix Guard, and they have the Razor Standard, which basically gives them the armor piercing special rule. So pretty much they're strength 4 because of halberds, but they're really kind of strength 5 in terms of penetrating armor. Very dangerous, immune to psychology, they cause fear, and they got heavy armor and a 4 up ward. Right here is the rare choices. Frost Heart in the back. Always got to take my Frost Heart. Bring in 2 Eagles. And I have 3 Bolt Throwers. 2 are fully painted. The other one is still somewhat under construction. Just recently finished putting it together. So I'm kind of going with a lot of range. This is my Sea Guard army in the campaign. Ironically, it's probably one of my best armies simply because of the Scale Cloaks being stubborn. And my Bolt Throwers have been performing, somewhat okay recently. So, this is the battlefield. It's Dawn Attack. I'll go over his army in a minute. He had not set up yet. So pretty much how Dawn Attack works, for those of you that do not know, pretty much I deploy my entire army at once, and it's randomized. So pretty much I choose a unit, so I point at a group of Reavers, I roll a d6. If I get a 1, It's on the left side of the table. If I get a 3 through 5, it's in the middle, so in the center. If I get a 2, it's on the right, and 6, I can place it anywhere I want. So I don't really get to play Dawn Attack too often. I typically like picked battles, but I will definitely take Dawn Attack over the Watchtower any day. It kind of makes it random and fun. Pretty much you have those 2 pits right there. Those are the marshes, or some of the marshes. Mysterious, we don't know what they do yet. We have a normal hill, 2 buildings, and then I think that's altar of Cain or something for that hill. Alright, so this is the center after I deployed. I actually got really good on my deployment. The Scale Cloaks, or the Sea Guard, excuse me, I call them the Sea Guard so you guys don't get confused. The Sea Guard go right in the middle with the Phoenix Guard on the right. I even get a Bolt Thrower in the middle, a group of Reavers go in the middle, and my Frost Chart goes in the middle as well. And on the right is another Bolt Thrower and another group of Reavers. On the left are both my Eagles and my other Bolt Thrower. So basically I have a Bolt Thrower in each section, very pleased with that. My Scouts, or my Shadow Warriors, they don't come on just yet. They get deployed right after he deploys. I'm really kind of hoping to get them kind of close so I can take out some of his artillery. So yeah, this is the Elf side. So we got Bolt Thrower, Bolt Thrower, Bolt Thrower. The Reavers are looking good. I'm definitely going to Vanguard them, move them up. Overall, I really couldn't have asked for a better deployment. I was feeling real confident. Alright, so here is the Empire. His army is fully painted and quite beautiful, as you can tell. So in the middle, he's got some Demigryphs. Basically, they're monstrous cavalry. I apologize in advance if I get any of the stats incorrect. I don't have a codex, and unfortunately I don't get to play Empire very often. He's got a steam tank. Believe that's toughness. Believe that thing's toughness 10. It's got it's either toughness 6 or toughness 10, but it's got 10 wounds on it. Basically, you can do steam points, basically to move it, shoot with it. It can possibly blow itself up if he overloads it. On the right is his Night Bus of Inner Circle Knights. On the right, he has, I think that's his general. It's a Count or something with the Rune Fane, which is basically an 85-point sword that basically auto wounds you if it just hits. Basically goes right through armor. You can have a ward save, but he had the other Trickster shard on it, so it was a very killy general. He had a Life Mage in the back, in the middle right there, and then he had his BSB on the far left right there. He has a Captain on a Pegasus right behind the Demis, and of course Empire has cannons, of course, and you can see the 2 are right in the middle right there. His left, so we're getting to his infantry block. I think that is about 40 halberdiers. Up front, he's got 5 huntsmen with bows. To the right of the halberdiers, I think he had 15 swordsmen with shield and sword. Empire has kind of a special a Parenton kind of unit, so that halberdiers is that's the main unit, and those little huntsmen and those swordsmen are basically something called detachments, I believe, if I got that right. And basically, to get credit for that whole thing, I have to basically kill all the 3 of those units. The detachments deploy a few inches to the side off the main halberdier body. And in the back, on the left, he had some more huntsmen with a level 4 Mage of Light. So basically, I was running a level 2 life and a level 4 shadow. He was running a level 2 life and a level 4 light. That was kind of funny how that worked out. And continuing to the far left, he had another captain on his Pegasus. So basically, my Shadow Warriors came up here, and I'll explain why. Pretty much, scouts have to be 12 inches away from an enemy unit that can see them. So basically, if I tried to deploy, I couldn't deploy behind his. He really deployed very well. He knew I was bringing scouts, so basically he made sure he had another Pegasus on the complete right side of the table. And he had one right here, and then his cannons were back. I mean, there was really no other place for me to put the Shadow Warriors, so I was kind of putting them right here to kind of maybe. I mean, there's nothing really fancy about the captain on the Pegasus. It's just he has a 2-up armor save. and that's about it. But he's got 2 wounds. He either has 2 or 3 wounds on him. Maybe I could put enough shots, and maybe he could roll a couple ones, and I could snipe him, do some damage on him. Granted, if he charges those Shadow Warriors, it's gonna hurt because he has a lance. But I have always strikes first, so you never know. And my real target was really going after that level 4 Mage of Light. Definitely could, if I could get past that captain somehow. Yeah, that was my thinking process at the time, and in all honesty, my left flank was the weakest. I had 2 eagles and a bolt thrower on my left, and that was it. So I was really afraid he was just going to come swooping in with that captain and kill my eagles and go after my bolt thrower. So I kind of felt I had to put something there. So basically, this is how it's looking at the top of turn 1. So he basically, you can't see the other Pegasus. It's on, it's right by that tower building. So he has 3 back there, 1 in each sector, and it's going to definitely get pretty bloody. This is very, very bloody game. So basically, High Elf turn 1, I Vanguard, kind of move my Reavers up. Everybody moves up. The Phoenix Guard moves up. The Sea Guard definitely moves up. They're in horde formation, so they can get more shots with their bows. And even my Frost Heart moves up. Right here, we have the Eagle. I even move on the left flank. My Eagle even moves up to kind of somewhat support my Shadow Warriors. Looking at this now, that might not have been a good idea, because his captain is also flying. It still was kind of a long charge. I think he needed an 8 or 9. But, he has 3 dice, and he takes the 2 highest. So, and plus, I honestly was going to have my Eagle flee if he did charge it. So basically, I was going to kind of use it as somewhat of a distraction. My magic phase, top of turn 1, my level 4 Shadow Mage used the spell Pit of Shades on the Steam Tank, which basically makes it take an initiative test. The initiative of a Steam Tank is 3. So pretty much, if he gets a 1, 2, or 3, he's perfectly okay, nothing happens. However, if he gets a 4, 5, or 6, basically this giant gaping hole opens up in the ground to the netherworld, I guess, and basically the Steam Tank falls through it. That was what was the large blast template was for. Needless to say, he failed his initiative tests, and I killed the Steam Tank at top of turn 1. He was not very happy. And there it is. I did get Irresistible Force to get the spell off, and I rolled a 10 on the miscast, which resulted in my wizard becoming from a level 4 to a level 1, and he forgot all his other spells. I think I had Enfeeble Info, Miasma, of course he forgot Pit of Shades, but I got to keep Occam's Mind Razor, which basically makes a unit's strength what their leadership is, so it's very dangerous. So I'm glad I got to keep that. But this is how it's looking at the end of turn 1. Got rid of his Steam Tank. I was so happy about that, because that thing was hard to deal with. So he still has a lot of infantry, he has the demis, he has the knights, and he still has his artillery. There was nothing I could do about that. I knew that he was going to get some shots off at me, but without a Steam Tank, I was definitely more confident. And the card behind the Sea Guard is Earthblood, so they have a 5-up regen save in case he wanted to shoot at them. So Empire turn 1, the captain charges into the Shadow Warriors. I knew this would happen. I did a stand and shoot reaction, and I don't think I got 1 arrow through. He passed all his armor saves on it. At first, though, he charged my Eagle, and basically I had my Eagle flee. He fled right through the tower and took a dangerous terrain test, and he was fine. So I put those dice there to remind me to roll for him to rally my next turn. So Empire's moving up at this point. The Inner Circle Knight bus moves up over the hill. The Demis move up to support it. There's the other captain on the Pegasus. So pretty much he's moving up. Gosh, I just really love this shot right here. You can see all the Spearmen, the Phoenix Guard right there, the Reavers. This is why I love fantasy of a little bit more than 40k. It just looks so cool. His huntsmen move up, those 5 huntsmen, getting ready to move up to shoot at my Reavers. And I think he somewhat slowly edged his halberdier block up with the Oh yes, and his level 4 his level 4 light mage, basically moved him with the halberdier block, and he sent the other 10 huntsmen towards the shadow warriors and the captain. In his magic phase, he did the net of Amok, which is basically forces that unit, if they try to move, if they try to shoot, if my mage basically casts a spell, I have to take I think it's a strength test, so that basically means, 1, 2, or 3, I'm okay, but if I get 4, 5, or 6, the entire unit will take, I think it's D6 strength 4 hits, and then I can't do the action I was trying to perform, I believe. I was somewhat okay with that. I didn't know it affected me if I tried to cast a spell, but I was planning to have my Seaguard hold position anyway, because, from the previous picture, it showed that his knights and his demis were coming towards me. He also got Earthblood off on his Inner Circle Knights, and I let that go off, because, I wasn't going to get in combat with him. I wasn't in combat with him this turn, and I'm very certain I wasn't going to get in combat with him next turn because he was still too far away. So I let him have that. I think he was afraid I was going to start shooting at his knights with my bolt throwers, which was a possibility. But in all honesty, I just sure, go ahead and have it. Empire turn 1 shooting. Basically, one of his cannons misfires, and it's unable to shoot. That's why it spun around right there. The target was my Frostheart, of course. He was trying to kill my Phoenix. And the other cannon basically hit the Phoenix, but he got a 1 when he tried to wound me, so it didn't do any damage. I didn't even have to take my ward save. So, at this point, I got a steam tank. One of his cannons misfired. The other cannon didn't hurt my Frostheart. I love this guy. He's a great guy. He also plays vampire accounts. But his dice always betray him in our games, it seems. So I was kind of feeling a bit sorry for him at this point. So this is even more ridiculous than what happened with the cannons. The captain on the Pegasus, basically, he fluffed his attacks. I think the horse was the only one that actually killed somebody. I'm not even joking. And he only killed 1. He still got the charge, though, and he got a wound, so I had to take a leadership test, and I easily passed on a 5. And my Shadow Warriors are holding up the captain on a Pegasus, so they're tying that flank up, so I'm very pleased. High Elf turn 2, my Eagle rallies. My 5 Reavers charge into the Demis. This might kind of seem like a suicide charge, but you guys got to remember, I have Occam's Mindrazor, so I was definitely planning to cast it on the Reavers. More so, I thought it would be hilarious to put Mindrazor on 5 Reavers against Demigryphs. This would effectively have making the Reavers strength 8. Because basically Occam's Mindrazor makes their strength what their leadership is. My Frostheart charged those 5 woodsmen. Basically, they fled. He ran them down, and it overran into the halberdiers. I was very pleased with this. My Frostheart's used on taking on massive blobs of infantry, using Thunder Stomp, and basically lowering their strength by 1. It's toughness 6, strength 6. It's got 4 attacks. Sometimes it can get 5 attacks. He was very discouraged. It's looking great for the High Elves at this point. Net of Hammock, though, basically tried to shoot with the BSB, with the Reaver Bow, failed, and I ended up killing 4 of my own spearmen. Not too big a loss, really. Yes, I got Mindrazor off on the Reavers. And I put 2 wounds on the Demis. That's what those 2 counters are for. It was delicious. It was just hilarious. He fluffed his attacks on his Demis. He got 1s and 2s when he tried to hit me on his Demis. I think his riders were able to do something, but they weren't on the charge. They were just normal human strength. And I passed my armor on the Reavers. And he lost combat, and a group of Reavers ran down a unit of Demigryphs. He almost quit the game at this point. I talked him into, I think he wanted to quit, but I mean, if he did, then I automatically would have gone to the second table and waited for the. We had 3 games going on at this point, and pretty much whatever survived, if you were the winner, you went to Mordheim, was basically what we were fighting over in the campaign, and. So basically, if he surrendered at this point, I would have gone to that table with a full army. So I think he just stayed out here on pure principle to try to kill as much as he could at this point. But gosh, it's just not looking good. He kills another Shadow Warrior. I end up holding. So at this point, they've survived 2 rounds of combat with a captain on a Pegasus. Right here, the Frostheart unfortunately takes 2 wounds from the Halberdiers. It's kind of hard to see the counter under the tail. My Thunder Stomp was not really that good. I think that's what it was. I got a 1, and then I got a 6, so I killed like 1, but it was a lot. I thought I would have done a lot better. And in all honesty, when I saw this, I was like, this is kind of odd, because this never really happened before to my Frostheart. This is how it's looking at the end of turn 2. Still very confident. So he's lost his steam tank. He's lost his demis. His, as you can see, my reavers right there are in a good position to threaten his cannons now, as well as that eagle. It's just not really looking good. And my spearmen and my phoenix guard are holding back, waiting for for the inner circle knights to move up. Alright, right here, on turn 2 for the Empire, he moves forward with his Empire Captain towards my bolt throwers. He's going to try to knock those out, and if I'll have a chance to shoot him down, pretty much. That bolt thrower that's colored right there, that's actually painted, just need a 3 to hit him, and then anything but a 1 from strength 6, and I could possibly kill him outright. And even that bolt thrower that's not unpainted, I think it also needed a 3 to hit him, and then anything but a 1, and I could kill him outright. So I wasn't really too worried at that point. So he uses Time Warp, Bionis Time Warp on my Frostheart, and I let this go off because I asked him what it did. Never really seen it in action. He said, "Oh, it gives me always strikes first, and it gives them +1 attack." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, my Frostheart basically has an aura that basically makes you have the always strikes last special rule. So basically, it would have canceled out that spell, so he wouldn't be going first. He would just be going off his initiative, which my Frostheart's initiative is a bit higher than the Halberdiers. So all he would be getting is just 1 extra attack, but he would need 4s to hit me and 6s to wound me regardless, because I'm toughness 6. And he rolled pretty high for this magic phase, and so basically I wanted to keep my Dispel dice for what else he was planning. So I let it go through. I honestly didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. Battle continues right here. He's starting to cut through these Shadow Warriors pretty quickly now. And they ended up breaking, and that Empire Captain finally breaks through on the left flank, which basically, I know that he's going to start putting pressure on that Eagle and that other Bolt Thrower. But in all honesty, the Shadow Warriors, even though I don't think I used them right, for those that play High Elves, you might just be shaking your head and being like, Priven, what were you doing? In my opinion, they kind of tied up that captain for a while. So, and like I said, there really wasn't a place for me to place him. If I knew that was going to happen, of course I couldn't have known, because I couldn't have known how he was going to deploy. I probably wouldn't have taken him, and probably would have taken something else. So right here, the fight continues. View of it right there. Those huntsmen on the hill right there were basically, some of them are falling over. He just kind of got frustrated and just said, "Yeah, they're on the hill," and I didn't argue. So this is how it's looking at the end of Empire turn 2. As you can see, my Frostheart has 3 wounds on it, and it still hasn't broken through the Halberdier unit. Starting to get a little bit worried. Oh, end of Empire turn 2 right here. This is the middle view. So definitely really strong still. Alright, turn 3. My Reavers that killed the Dimmies, they basically continued the attack and basically charge into one of his cannons. Get a flank charge. I mean, right now, my Reavers have paid for themselves twice, triple times over. That's great. The second group of Reavers charge into the flank of the swordsman right there. I had to take a dangerous terrain test on, I think, three of them, for going into the marsh, but they'll be on strength 4, and they're hitting the flank of the swordsman. I think that marsh turned out to be a charnel pit, which basically lowers the leadership of any unit within 6 inches of it. So basically, if I won the battle, he'd have to take a leadership test on not only what he lost by, but also -1 because of the charnel pit. And yes, I ended up losing a Reaver to dangerous terrain test, but still confident that I could get those swordsmen. And my Eagle basically attacks the other cannon. So I have the first Reaver attacking the first cannon, the second group of Reavers hitting the flank of the swordsman, and my Eagles basically going artillery hunting, getting this cannon. All three. Okay, this is. I still can't believe this actually happened. Remember, I was saying that basically 2 of my bolt throwers within short range. They just needed 3s to hit this guy. Well, the 2 small dice, the 1 and the 2, that's those bolt throwers. They didn't get a 3. The one that was on the far other side of the table that needed a 4, and that's the orange dice, it got a 3. So I had 3 bolt throwers fire at one guy, and all 3 missed. He must have just been doing some barrel rolling and dodging, that's for sure. My Sea Guard and BSB, they take all these are all the shots they take, and they shoot at the Inner Circle Knights. And not one of them got through. You're on an one-up armor save. All the arrows just bounced off. I think I got like 10 or I think he passed like 10 or 12 saves. Did not get one. And right here, the crewmen, I kill one of them, but they kill one Reaver, which was impressive. I got to give them credit. I honestly thought I was going to kill both of them outright because I have always strikes first. They pay their leadership and they pass on a 4, so they're definitely holding for Sigmar. The Eagle kills its cannons, though, and basically moves on to bigger and better things, like going to support the Reavers against the Swordsmen. So, basically right here, the Reavers aren't doing so good. I lose another one in close combat. Even right now, my Frost Hearts continuing to kill Halberdiers. I know it's kind of hard to see, and it's not looking like I'm killing them. I think I've completely got the back rank, though, wiped out. I think at this point I've killed 8 or 10. But he's on Steadfast, and he just keeps passing his leadership rolls. And that unit was immune to psychology due to the marshes. Each unit had to, before this, I should explain that. Each unit had to roll a d6 at the start of the game, and if you got a 1, you had to roll on this chart. His Halberdiers got a 1, so they could have been stupid, they could have ended up attacking a friendly unit, but he actually got a good result, and it basically made him immune to psychology. So basically, my Frost Heart couldn't interfere with them. So, but my Frost Heart holds, even though that it lost combat, passed on a 4 leadership, and it's really determined to break these Halberdiers. I was real proud of it. So this is how it's looking at the end of turn 3. I know he's going to send that captain in to the other bolt thrower right there, the colored one. There ain't really nothing I can do about it. It deserves to die at this point for not being able to shoot it that close. Maybe it'll learn its lesson. Sea Guard and the Phoenix Guard are holding, basically having a staring contest at the Inner Circle Knights. The 4 Reavers trying to get rid of that cannon, and the Eagle can hopefully get in the flank of the Swordsman if those Reavers are able to stay alive, which is kind of an if. And then that other captain, Pegasus, is creeping around the tower, going after the other bolt thrower and Eagle over there. So basically, the captain charges into the bolt thrower that can't shoot. looking at this now, I really don't have much sympathy for these two Elves. They weren't able to shoot him. The second captain basically sneaks around the tower, and basically he's prepping for another charge. Maybe this bolt, so I'll basically have another turn to turn this bolt thrower around. It'll be on a 3, and maybe I can kill him before he comes here. So basically they have one opportunity to save themselves. This kind of puzzled me a little bit. Pretty much I was expecting him to come at my spear block or do something at this point, but he turned around and did a reform to go at, I guess he was going back to try to get the Reavers, to get the cannon, but I was going to kill the cannon, because he couldn't charge me, so I was like, okay, he's turning around and kind of going away. I really don't think he wanted to charge the spears, probably because of the Phoenix Garter right there. That's 30 guys with a 4 board save. He really felt like he couldn't get through that no matter what. So at this point, remember, guys, we're playing this game or he's probably playing this game with the mindset of how much stuff can I kill of the High Elves. So at the second battle on the Mordheim table, they'll have less stuff to work with. So I think that's what he was doing, but it still kind of confused me a little bit. Basically, I moved my other eagle up. Basically, I left my bolt thrower on its own. And basically, I wanted to kind of flank and get some of these huntsmen. He shot the eagle and put a wound on it. Right here, I was quite proud of these two bolt thrower crews. I had always strikes first. I got 2 hits, and he took 2 armor saves, and he failed 1. So the crew actually put a wound on the captain. So even if they died at this point, at least, they just didn't lie down and take it. On the other side of the table, though, the bolt thrower fell to it eventually, obviously. And he turned around to go after my other one. And this is what I was really afraid of, because I wanted to take my bolt throwers to the next battle. We had a dwarf player, there's Warriors of Chaos with Skull Crushers, a lot of heavy armor stuff. Could have possibly been at the next table. I didn't know who was going to win those battles. But, he was taking out my bolt throwers, and I was kind of panicking at this point. So, I was not liking this. Great view. This is just a picture of basically the Circle Knights. My Reavers ended up basically finishing off the cannon. I did a free reform. Gosh, they're just really well done. Really well painted. Another Reaver fell to the Swordsman. Really think they're not going to be able to take out the sword, take out that swordman detachment, unfortunately. And they don't. The swordsman, I think the swordsman either wiped them out or they fled. We'll find out in the next couple slides. And basically, oh, that's right. The Reavers did flee, and the swordsman tried to pursue them, and they overran into the flank of the Phoenix. And since it technically counts as a charge because they were trying to catch the Reavers, and this combat didn't start yet, these swordsmen could participate in the combat. So I was freaking out at this point because my Frostheart was having hard enough time to get through these halberdiers, and now he has a whole other unit in its flank. But I only lost. He only put 1 wound on me. Yep. And then, as you can see, I killed a lot of swordsmen. Those are all swordsmen, right in the back, just laying down. So, but he still had the ranks on me. He had a charge. He's in the flank. So I believe I still lost combat, and I'm just gonna have to take a leadership test. And of course, my Frostheart rolled a 1 and 2 2s, I think. So the swordman easily catch my Frostheart and kill it, and my general did not like that at all. It was before my whole entire army saw this happen. So this is the end of Empire Turn 3. So he's in a lot better shape now. This was such a great game. It was going back at this point. It was going back and forth. Killed my Frostheart, but as you can tell, I still have all those Sea Guard, and I got the Phoenix Guard. So, I'm still pretty confident. And here's the other flank. The Eagle are hopefully gonna get some huntsmen there. Got that other bolt thrower to shoot at the captain. But, right now, I was still feeling, because I had Occam's Mindrazor, I could put that on. I was definitely going to try to put it on the Reavers and maybe do a repeat. And if they could just, kill some Inner Circle Knights, not the whole unit. I knew that wasn't going to happen. Maybe weaken that unit enough. I really felt that I could definitely win this match. So the Eagle charges the Woodsman. They do a stand and shoot. They put another wound on the Eagle. Second Eagle goes in to get some revenge for the Frostheart, and I get a rear charge in the Swordman unit. So he was definitely ticked off. And the Reavers charged, being real confident. Yeah, we killed some Dimmies. We got a cannon. Let's go after some Inner Circle Knights with the General and the with a Mage and the BSB. And so they charge right in. My Reavers failed to rally. These were the Reavers that were fighting the Swordsman. And so basically, they continued to run. They ran over the hill, ran through that combat, had to take a dangerous terrain test. 5 and 2, they passed it. I had one more opportunity to rally them before they ran off the board. I was really hoping that they would rally on the hill, but they didn't. Right here was probably my biggest mistake of the game. I didn't know it at the time, but reflecting and making this battle report, definitely so. I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. I reformed the Phoenix Guard to face this direction because at this point, to be honest, I just didn't have faith in my bolt throwers. I did not have faith that my bolt throwers could take care of themselves, because when you have 3, 2 of them are short distance, 1 is long distance, fire 3 shots at a captain, and they all 3 miss. And I've already lost 1 bolt thrower on the other side. I'm about to lose another one, and I only have 1 left. And you guys got to remember, I'm playing with the mindset that whatever survives on the table, I'm taking over to another battlefield immediately after. So this is not like your typical Warhammer game where, oh, okay, well, you lost the bolt throwers. It doesn't really matter. They're only 70 points apiece. We were playing this, both of us were playing this game to try to preserve our units. So basically, I was just really hoping that if my bolt throwers couldn't take out the captain, maybe they could survive and the Phoenix Guard could come help. And, I still had my Sea Guards. They were facing the Knights. The Empire Knights were fighting the Reavers. I was going to put Mind Razor on them. I still had 41 Sea Guard, with bows, BSB in there. I thought I was still pretty strong in the middle. So I tried to put Mind Razor on the Reavers to weaken the Inner Circle Knights, and I didn't roll above a 3. I threw 6 dice. And that was the roll. Yeah, he laughed so hard he nearly fell on the floor, and I just kind of sat down in the chair and was like, well, definitely got to get a picture of this. So we got 2, 2, 2, 2, and a 1 and a 1. So yeah, Mind Razor didn't go off, so those Reavers were dead against the Knights. However, I did do a regrowth on pure principle, and I brought 1 Reaver back to life, and so now I had 5. And remember, I didn't have any other spells. I didn't have Pit of Shades, Enfeebling Foe, because I lost them all. So pretty much, I just had these dice, and I was like, sure, I'll do regrowth, because, I have these dice left over, so I'll try it. And I got 1 back, so, but it doesn't really matter. And the Bolt Thrower was able to take care of itself and killed the captain, which made the reform of the Phoenix Guard pointless. So I was proud of the Bolt Thrower, but kind of mad at myself, because I kind of wasted a turn with the Phoenix Guard. And there's 30 of them, and it's turn 4 at this point, and they still haven't gotten to combat yet. So I definitely was being overly cautious this game. I should have been a bit more aggressive. I was aggressive with the Frostheart, and been aggressive with the Eagles, and aggressive with the Reavers, but my main units, I wasn't being aggressive with. The other Bolt Thrower fired, managed to hit, and just only put 1 wound on that other captain on the other side of the table. This is on the left side of the table. The captain that just got killed in the previous slide was on the right side of the table. So basically, kill some Swordmasters. I think he needed a 3 or 4. He got insane courage, so the Swordman held, which I was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. They're really fighting for their Emperor in this battle. Eagle got a wound put on it in close combat with the Woodsman, really trying to get through. I didn't expect much to happen. I was hoping maybe my stomp could do something, and they would have kept shooting at the eagle, regardless. So I had to do something with it. So I was like, oh, we'll charge the woodsman and see what happens. Won the combat, but he held. I think he was on leadership 7 or 6, and he made a 5. Yep, Reavers died. I really felt like I sacrificed them for nothing. Was really hoping Mindrazor would gotten off because he used his Dispel Scroll prior to another spell. So I was pretty confident I could get Mindrazor, but yeah, when you roll 6 dice and not one of them is above a 3, it's kind of hard to do. So after that, he gets a pre-reform. He turns around, facing my Sea Guard. My Phoenix Guard is facing the other way at this point. Keep in mind, this is on my turn, so technically he can, if he gets high enough roll, he can charge my Sea Guard, and my Phoenix Guard won't be in a position to support my Spearman for a full turn. At this point, though, I didn't care. I was gonna use the Sea Hero special ability, basically, which would allow my Spearman to basically go in 5x5 formation, so I would bust up, and it's 43 of them. So at this point, I was like, bring it. I'm mad at this point because he keeps making all these leadership tests. So this is how it's looking at the end of turn 4. The Phoenix Guard are turned around for absolutely nothing, and basically it looks like that my Sea Guard's about to get charged. Eagle still fighting the swordsman. He has that big block of halberdiers, but they're kind of far away. You got to keep an eye on them though, because if they come up with the inner circle knights, it could definitely be a problem. So on his turn, he charges the other bolt throwers with his captain. He makes the charge. I can't remember what he needed, but cavalry 3 dice, take the 2 highest. He got in there, and then basically, instead of doing a stand and shoot reaction, I did a swift reform reaction that the Sea Hero lets me do, and basically we went 5x5. We bust up. I put my level 4 in the back, basically hoping that he wouldn't get attacked, so I could get mine. If I can survive one turn, comes my next turn, hopefully I can get Mindrazor off and roll above a 3 on 6 dice. And then my Spearman will become Strength 10, and I will obliterate that unit. Another battle view right here. Just looks really cool with my painted Spearman and his knights. Oh, basically he casts Baroness Time Warp. Yeah, so this is my mistake at this point. I might be throwing myself under the bus here. I honestly can't remember how he got this off. I think I let him get it off because I thought he was going to cast Earthblood or do something else. But I think he might have just basically just got Irresistible Force on. I honestly can't remember. Looking at it now, I'm like reading the spell card. I was like, why would I let him get that off in this situation? But he got it off. Can't remember. Killed my eagle with these woodsmen. Typical. Either it was going to die from getting shot at or in close combat. So, farewell to the eagle. The swordmen reformed. They passed their lead 5 or whatever they needed to get since they lost combat. And they turned to face the eagle. I was a bit afraid now because I was no longer in the rear. However, my eagle was able to basically win that combat. I think he kind of left his attacks. Being toughness 4 on the eagles, that weapon skill 5 and toughness 4 on the eagle, that's what makes him worth every single point of those 50 points. And basically the remaining swordsman unit ran away and I ran him down. My crew is able to put another wound on the captain. But it's not enough. He's able to kill the bolt throwers. Goes right through him. And now he's going towards my last bolt thrower. So at this point, I have lost 2 out of 3 of the bolt throwers. So, main battle here. Basically, our champion of the Inner Circle Knights and my Spearman champion basically step out to do the challenge. He loses. Basically, I do my attacks, and I need fours to hit him. I miss both. I re-roll both, and I get Snake Eyes. So not only do I miss it, I miss it 4 times in a row, but the last 2 dice I roll Snake Eyes. I'm just like, okay, I guess he's just made a fail, and he's not meant to hurt to do anything. He kills my Life Mage. I kind of knew that was going to happen. Unfortunately, you got to have full command in the front, and then characters. So I'd rather my level 2 Life Mage die than my level 4 Shadow Mage be attacked. And this is where I have a question for you guys. He said then immediately, the combat wasn't over yet. The rest of the unit still had to attack. He said immediately, my level 4 has to move up and take the spot now. So and I've been playing with 2 groups of guys. One group of guys tell me that this is how some of the rules and stuff is supposed to go. He's with another group, and he says they kind of play somewhat differently. And I basically you have one group of people that've been playing for 20 or 30 years that I think that kind of get mixed up with some of the rules in previous editions, and then the other group are a bunch of new guys that they've only played this edition, but they know the book really well, and so I've kind of been taught by both these groups. But I took his word for it. I didn't think he was trying to screw me or anything, but I just thought that was kind of weird. I thought that at the end of combat, then my level 4 would move into the position. So if you guys know, please comment and let me know. And so basically my level 4 moved up, because that's what he said had to happen. So he moved up, and then now he was able to attack my level 4 Archmage. And basically, he has a 4 ward save on him. He had 3 wounds on him. I just had to pass 1 wound. I just had to get a 4-up save. I got a 1, a 2, and a 3. So basically, he killed both my mages, and so far I lost my champion in the combat. So now I don't have Mind Razor, because he killed my general. Like my Phoenix, my Bolt Throwers, I can't remember the last time my dice hated me this much. This is how the fight's looking. He kills a few spears, but for the most part, him killing my two mages, him winning the challenge, he's definitely going to win combat, but it doesn't matter because the Sea Guard are stubborn, and they can reroll off the BSB, so... This is how it's looking at the end of turn 4 of an Empire. So basically what I'm planning to do now is, have my last Bolt Thrower shoot at that captain. Has 1 wound left to try to save it. I'm going to have to turn my Phoenix Guard around, and that's all I can do, because I can't charge with them. You can only charge what you can see on that turn, and they're looking at the Bolt Thrower and off the table. So basically, like I said, I think it was one of my biggest mistakes in the game. But in all honesty, I didn't expect this to happen. 1, I didn't expect my Bolt Thrower to save itself, because I lost faith in them. 2, I honestly didn't expect my Mind Razor to fail on the Reavers. Granted, I wasn't expecting the Reavers to kill all those knights, but I think they could have gotten some. I might have been even able to kill or put some wounds on one of his characters. And 3, I was not expecting the knights not only to make that charge, but also basically killing my level 4 like that. I thought putting my level 4 in the back rank would have given me at least a turn. So, and then his Halberdiers moved up with the Bionis Time Warp, doubled their movement, so they're high-tailing it over here. So, right now, it's really not looking good. And here's the ground view of the situation. Alright, so my turn 5. I reform the Phoenix Guard. Still got 30 of them. I mean, they're itching to get in the combat. They want to kill something. I think they were mad at me because at this point it's almost disgraceful. It's been 5 turns. They haven't been in combat yet. My Bolt Thrower killed the last captain. Thank God. My Spearmen were getting cut down by his characters. His general with the Rune Fane is just, I think he killed 4 outright. Don't get armor, cuts through him. His other knights are killing. He gets attacks from the horses. So, but I mean, I still have a lot of spears left. So that was my turn 5. I should have probably moved the eagle. If you're looking at this right now, look at his halberdiers, how they're positioned. I honestly thought he could not charge into my flank because he would have clipped or hit his unit. Granted, his far end would have hit my unit, but basically he maximized basically after to make it fit. And so we're going to look at it here, and I kind of want your opinion on what you guys think about this. So there's another view. So basically he's going to wheel in. This is what happened. I didn't think he could do that because I thought that, he had to slide down, because if he clipped his unit first, I didn't think he could charge. And maybe honestly he couldn't have, but basically my Reavers ended up rallying, and we kind of started having a shooting contest. I didn't get my photo before, but I basically both of those Reavers fired, and I killed a Huntsman, and then basically he fired now, and he killed another one. This time, but we're just kind of screwing around over there. His halberdiers charge, and I took the picture right here. Basically, he charged in, and then he slid them down to maximize so they could fit in the flank. And this is what I kind of have an argument between the players at my shop. Two different groups maximize differently. I have a group that maximizes at the start of the battle before it starts, and then I have a group that maximizes at the end of the battle. And to be honest, I'm really not sure which one, so please tell me in the comments which it is. So his halberdiers, his characters, his knights, they're really going to town on the Sea Guard. They're killing them by, by 5s and 10s at this point. But we're still stubborn, so they're going to hold. And they do hold. End of Empire turn 5. My Phoenix Guard are finally in. They charge. They get a flank charge and the flank charge in the inner circle. Really hoping that they can turn this around. I still got 5, 10. Looks like I got 14 Sea Guard left. I still got my BSB there, so I got rerollable. My Eagle charges the rear of the halberdiers. Trying to get some combat resolution, but at this point, I think that was just kind of like a drop in the bucket at that point. My Sea Guards continue to take losses. I kill some of his knights, so now his mage has to scoot over against my Phoenix Guard, so I can start attacking his level 2 life mage, which is good. This is how it's looking at the end of turn 6. I killed 2 knights. I think my spears put all their attacks on the knights. I was just trying to get through those knights, and his halberdiers kept hacking away in horde formation at the Sea Guard. He does Earthblood. I thought this was. I was like, oh, that's some light at the end of the tunnel. He got Earthblood off on his inner circle. He got Snake Eyes for his magic phase first of all. And so he threw both dice at Earthblood, and he got 2 6s. Which I was perfectly okay with. I was hoping that his mage would get sucked up into the warp, and, maybe the explosion could kill some of the knights for me. And he finishes off the last Reaver. The life mage does indeed die. The miscast basically puts a wound on him, and then I think my Phoenix Guard finish him off. So that's some points for me right there. And at this point, all his knights are gone, so he's literally just down to his BSB and his general at this point. He wiped out the Sea Guards, or the Scale Cloaks, as I call them in my campaign. They literally fought down to the last man, and the BSB was the only one left, thankfully. Keeping them in combat. Through combat resolution, my Phoenix Guard had to flee, because basically my Sea Guard may be stubborn, but the Phoenix Guard were not stubborn, and so he killed, I think, the remaining 4 or 5 Sea Guard. So basically, since that combat is connected with the main combat, see, basically there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 units. But they're all part of one combat, so I'm basically, speaking this to new players. So pretty much, I lost by 5, so basically my Phoenix Guard basically have to take a leadership test. You know, -5. I failed it the first time. You know, I can re-roll it with my BSB, and I got a 9. So basically, they turn around and they flee. Thankfully, they don't count as points in this edition. Yeah, you have to kill. They have to go off the table, or you have to kill them to get points for them. But he can't pursue me because his halberdiers are technically in the combat with the BSB, and his BSB and his general is in combat with my BSB. So this is the end of turn 6 of Empire. Basically, we have the Phoenix Guard fleeing. I've never seen my Phoenix Guard flee before. It's very disturbing. They honestly didn't do much this whole game. Partially my fault, from what I stated earlier. But yeah, as you can see, it's a bloodbath. We weren't really sure who won at this point. We had to add up the points. He lost the steam tank. He technically lost the inner circle knights. I killed them, so I got points for that. I killed his life mage. I killed his demis. He lost both of the cannons. It was such a bloody game. It was a real fun game, though. It's probably one of the most fun I've had in a long time. But in the end, we added up the points, and I think he beat me by 275 to 300 points. So in Warhammer Fantasy terms, it was a very close game. And you know, I was really happy for him. We've played several times. I've fought his vampire accounts. I fought his Empire on several occasions. He's never been able to beat me, ever. So this was his very first victory against me. So you know, I was almost kind of proud of him, and he earned it. He outgeneraled me. My dice hated me. He just played a fantastic game, and so you know, he hasn't been doing too good in the campaign. So yeah, he earned this, and you know, I was glad to see that, even though our armies are kind of, fighting in the campaign and the fluff right now with what he's doing. He's a great guy, and I'm just glad that I had a lot of fun. So basically, he went over to the second table, which was okay with me because that means I got to go home. It was nearing 5 p.m. at this point. So. Alright, MVP. I normally really don't do this, but I honestly couldn't decide. Comment and let me know if you agree or disagree. But to me, it was the Eagles and the Reavers, and I'll explain why. You might say, oh, your Sea Guard did really good. They held for so long and fought to the last man. Yeah, they did, but they didn't really kill a whole unit, and they were supposed to fight to the last man because they had stubborn. That's what they were expected to do. You could argue it should go to my Shadow Mage. Oh, he killed the Pit of Shades right out. He did Mind Razor on the Reavers, but the Reavers did awesome. They killed the cannon. They rode up and killed those demis. Granted, they had Mind Razor helping them, but hey, let's give the Reavers credit. A group of Reavers rode down and killed demis. And the Eagle, basically, he killed the swordsman. He killed a cannon. Granted, they're chaff, but they did amazing. This game, they basically killed more than what I paid for them, and yeah, they did great. So. Alright guys, leave comments. Let me know what you think of this battle report. It was 2,500 points. I don't think I stated that at the beginning. But there'll be another battle report up shortly against dwarves. You guys have a good one, and thank you for watching.